Cindy Brucato, Stan Turner, meteorologist Dennis Feldgen, and Bob Bruce with sports. The Eyewitness News Update.
And good evening, everyone. Cindy Brucato is on vacation this week. She'll be back on Monday. Topping the news tonight, stories from Washington and from Rome of responsibility and of forgiveness. President Reagan today accepted the blame for the security failures that led to the deaths of 241 Marines in Beirut in October. And Pope John Paul II today visited and prayed with the man who nearly killed him. That was back in 1981. We'll have more on that, but we begin with the president first here tonight. He spent the Christmas holiday reviewing a report on the terrorist bomb that hit Marine headquarters in Beirut October 23rd. He told reporters today the Pentagon report blames Marine commandants for the lax security at the base, and he said it recommends disciplinary action against them. But he took full responsibility himself as commander-in-chief, saying there was no way to anticipate that terrorist attack.
I do not believe, therefore, that the local commanders on the ground, men who have already suffered quite enough, should be punished for not fully comprehending the nature of today's terrorist threat. If there is to be blame, it properly rests here in this office and with this president. And I accept responsibility for the bad as well as the good.
The president's statement amounts to an act of forgiveness toward the Marine commanders because it means the military will not be able to press disciplinary actions against those named in that Pentagon report. Another act of forgiveness today, this one in Rome, where Pope John Paul II met, quote, as brothers with the man who tried to kill him. The Pope traveled to the Rome prison where Mehmet Ali Agca is serving a life sentence for wounding the Pope back in 1981. Today, Ali Agca told the Pope he was sorry, and the Pope offered his forgiveness. The two prayed together during a visit that lasted 20 minutes, and they shook hands as they parted. The Pope called it an historic day in his life as a man, as a Christian, and as a Bishop of Rome. But when reporters asked him to explain what he and Ali Agca talked about, he refused, calling it a secret between the two of them. Locally, the bodies of two Twin Cities teenagers were discovered inside a parked car in St. Paul this morning. The 17-year-old boy and girl are believed to have died overnight, victims of carbon monoxide poisoning. The bodies were discovered in a parking lot outside the Ponderosa restaurant in East St. Paul. The car was backed into a snowbank, and police believe that forced exhaust fumes inside the car. The victims are identified as 17-year-old Denise Dusher. She was a senior at Johnson High in St. Paul, and 17-year-old Ronald Berthume of Maplewood, a senior at Hill Murray. In Brooklyn Park tonight, police and firemen had to block off an area around an industrial park because of a gas leak. Snow removal crews clearing the Raygo parking lot accidentally broke open a 2.5-inch gas main, and that line remained open for more than an hour. 3 people in the area were moved to safety while emergency crews awaited the arrival of Minigasco. Luckily, the shutoff valve was intact, and the line was closed shortly after Minigasco arrived. Nobody knows just how much gas escaped, but police say the air was pretty thick with the smell of gas for over 45 minutes tonight. Our record snowfall this year is going to cost Minneapolis taxpayers an extra $400,000. That's how much the city is spending to remove snow from city street corners. The council made the emergency money available because of concern for pedestrians and drivers who can't see around those mounds of snow. Of course, when it's hauled away, there's another problem. Namely, there isn't much room left at the city's snow dumps, so the snow may be shoved right into the old Mississippi River. The St. Paul City Council put its snow removal budget in order today. On a unanimous vote, the council levied a small property tax to keep the plows running. The tax will raise a collective $400,000 for the city, and it will cost the owner of a $70,000 house in St. Paul $1.49 a year in additional property taxes. The slight tax increase whisked through the council with no opposition today. A restaurant and bar in St. Paul's new Bandana Square will be allowed to continue serving liquor. A state appeals court ruling yesterday would have banned the liquor sales, but the St. Paul City Council came up with a compromise today to keep the bars open. The Wilder Foundation, which is the developer of Bandana Square, activated 2 other dormant liquor licenses which it owns. For the time being, that allows Malarkey's Bar the right to continue serving liquor. The council approved the action, and lawyers for Bandana Square will continue to argue for a so-called umbrella liquor license for that complex. A deadline today for the city's hoping to land the World Trade Center project proposed for Minnesota. It's going to be a windfall for the town that wins, and today the city of St. Paul unveiled its bid. It's a sprawling proposal that would join the Capitol and other buildings with a 40-story tower in downtown St. Paul. Here's Frank Mann with more on the center and the St. Paul proposal.
Industry, Minnesota industry, agriculture, high tech, communications. In this country, 10% of the companies export 90% of the goods, leaving a large amount of untapped potential.
So basically, we have this 90% of all of our companies out there who are doing little or nothing in the field of exporting. And anything that we can do to encourage them, it seems to be, will be enormously beneficial to those companies and to our regional economy.
Cities like New York, Baltimore, and New Orleans have built World Trade Centers, one-stop shopping centers for international trade. But there is no World Trade Center in the Midwest. None in Chicago, none in Kansas City, none in Minneapolis, St. Paul, or Bloomington. Today was the deadline for Minnesota cities to submit their proposals for a World Trade Center. In St. Paul, one of the most ambitious plans to date was unveiled, a 40-story tower, phase one of a $250 million project.
It's important to us. We have all of our plants practically all across the United States are involved in the trade that we have outside of the U.S.
Because a World Trade Center means jobs, tax revenues, and prestige, the competition is likely to be tough. In the running in Minneapolis are sites near the old Milwaukee Road Depot and the Leamington Hotel. This twin tower conception got the endorsement of City Council. But in Bloomington, a 6-building airport project is up against this existing office building. Whichever site is chosen, it will mean good news for Minnesota's economy. Not only will exports go up, but this area will have a good shot at becoming the commercial hub of Middle America. Frank Mann, Channel 5, Eyewitness News.
Now then, in other news this Tuesday, U.S. Steel tightens its belt. AT&T workers learn about a new division, and a task force tackles the tough problem faced by parents who both work. That's next on The Update.
Celebrate with the finest French sparkling wine, Champagne. So good it is deemed to be Cordon Royal. Champagne.
New chicken hot bites from Banquet in 3 hot shapes. Hot from the oven, anytime, fun time. Hot bites, party nights, dip and pop them all right. Hot bites, hot lunch on the go, catch 'em with your favorite show. New Banquet hot bites, 100% chicken makes them great tasting meals. 3 hot shapes make them bite-sized snacks. Hot bites holidays, stack 'em up 100 ways. Chicken hot bites from Banquet in 3 hot shapes. The hottest bites around. Hot bites.
You don't have to be Columbus to discover great automotive savings. Now you can discover year-end savings at your Datsun dealer's Great Discovery Sale. Discover the selection of front-wheel drive Sentras and Stanzas, even the luxurious Maxima. Discover the quality, discover our prices. Discover what a great deal you can make for yourself if you come in now. It's a new world of low prices and great value.
See Datsun North, Terry Fellman's Imports, Viking Datsun, Kraska Datsun, Royal Datsun, and Miller Datsun.
Sorry to say, the holidays have suddenly gone sour, pretty grim for more than 15,000 steel workers. U.S. Steel says it will close up 4 money-losing domestic steel plants by June of '84. 3 of the plants are in Pennsylvania, the 4th in Ohio. And the reason for the closings? Losses, big losses. In the first 3 quarters of this year, the steel giant lost nearly $500 million. Last year, U.S. Steel reeled under an $850 million loss, the worst in the industry since the Depression. The closings will wipe out the jobs of 4,500 active and nearly 11,000 already laid off employees in all U.S. Steel operations. Now, here in Minnesota, the effect is minimal. 2 employees will lose their jobs at the Mintac maintenance shop up in Eveleth. On January the 1st, Ma Bell will complete her breakup. You've been hearing lots about this. AT&T will divest into 7 regional holding companies, and the changes will affect all customers in service and in phone rates. But as Debbie Emblem reports, the changes are affecting Ma Bell's employees, too.
Ma Bell has been working for almost 2 years to divide herself up. From rerouting miles of cable to building new office space, it's all part of dividing up responsibilities between AT&T and Northwestern Bell. In Minnesota, some 8,000 employees have decided to stick with Northwestern Bell, and some 2,300 have already gone or are going to AT&T.
Special Operator Brian, who are you calling at this number, please?
Brian Dana has been a Northwestern Bell operator for 8.5 years. After hearing about the breakup, he made a decision early on to stick with Northwestern Bell. He knew that meant switching offices within the company, but basically he's still an operator.
And with the split, nobody could tell you what AT&T was going to have here. And if you want to get out of operating, my feeling was there'd be more job movement within the local company.
Job security and staying in Minnesota were priorities for Brian. The unknowns about AT&T seemed too much of a risk.
They could pack up shop and move it somewhere else. And they, you just don't know.
Since Northwestern Bell will be out of the interstate long-distance business come January 1st, all Bell's long-distance operators will transfer to AT&T, unless they choose to be a local operator. Virginia Iverson has been a long-distance operator with Bell for 22 years.
I could have transferred to a different type of work, but I enjoy working with the public, serving the people. To me, it's been my life, and I enjoy my job. So I've decided to stay with my long-distance operating and continue with it.
Virginia will be trained this week on new long-distance practices. And Sunday, the new Bell and AT&T will be born. Debbie Ann Bloom, Channel 5 Eyewitness News, Minneapolis.
In the 1970s and 80s, a lot more women entered the workforce, many of them mothers. The question now is, what do working parents do when their kids get sick, too sick to go to daycare centers? Well, usually one of the parents has to call in sick too to care for the child at home. But a local task force is trying to resolve the problems that creates. And our medical specialist, Dr. Michael Breen, explains how.
Deanna Johnson is a working mother. While she spends her days with senior citizens, her children spend their days at a daycare center. For the last 2 months, one of her children, 4-year-old Annie, has had a rash of sniffles and colds.
When Annie is ill, Mrs. Johnson is caught between a rock and a hard place. On one hand, staying home with Annie means missing a day's pay. On the other hand, sending Annie to the daycare center anyway means not caring for her child and possibly spreading her illness.
I think that there have been times, to be perfectly honest, when I have done that. And I think I don't know that makes me a bad mother, but I think it's a very realistic situation for many mothers, and it does happen a lot.
Some parents of children like these go one step further. They'll go to work and leave a sick child at home. Experts say everybody suffers, partly because most companies won't give sick time to an employee whose child is sick. Connie Bell is part of a statewide task force that's suggesting a change.
What we're suggesting is that sick leave or personal leave be expanded to allow working parents to take care of their sick children.
The task force, composed of daycare experts, says another solution would be a special daycare center strictly for sick children. Mount Sinai Hospital is already seeking funds to build such a center alongside their current facility.
Hopefully we would know by June or July. As I said, we have sought funding from local foundations and corporations.
If Sinai can get that funding, the center would be only the third of its kind ever built. There are no firm solutions, but experts say the proposed center, like the task force itself, represents the first efforts to solve a continuing problem for millions of working parents. Dr. Michael Breen, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Well, on the weather fronts of the world, of the nation, warming trends in Texas mean leaky pipes and water emergencies in Dallas and Fort Worth. We'll have that story for you. And, of course, Dave Dahl will be in a little bit here to talk about our snow locally. That's not a milkshake, folks, and the outlook for tomorrow. And a bit later, Jason Davis on the road again in the capital of Ludafisk.
Here now, the Ford cars and trucks you've been waiting for. 4x4s, front-wheel drives, Rangers, Broncos, Tempos, Bronco 2s, #1 Ford pickups.
Your Northland Ford dealer is trying to say inventory is very high, so he's having a year-end sale.
At Escort, quality economy, now with the diesel Q. Low year-end prices.
He has prices as low as $121.61 per month to drive a new Escort.
But when they're gone, they're gone. Shop now for the best selection. Drive home with a car or truck of your choice. But the sale ends Monday, so hurry, hurry, hurry.
Your Northland Ford dealer says, hurry.
At the Pan American Ocean Resort Hotel, you can work on your tan around our Olympic-sized pool, dine in our sumptuous restaurant, shop at the nearby exclusive Val Harbor stores, go fishing on our own Bertram 38, play tennis, take in the races, golf at the club, or do just what you've always wanted to do, nothing at all. The Pan American Ocean Resort Hotel.
For information, call House of Travel, Minneapolis or Edina.
There's a new product for people who don't like to shovel snow. It's the Toro Gas Power Shovel. Powered by an easy-starting Toro 2-cycle engine. It's lightweight, yet handles big jobs, like throwing snow up to 24 feet. And it gets you in and out of tight spots with ease. The new Toro Gas Power Shovel. We believe in making things better. We believe you do, too.
See your Toro at these participating dealers.
This item just in, an explosion tonight in Buffalo, New York, ripped through 4 buildings, injuring scores of people. Perhaps 3 or 4 of them are dead. That explosion followed reports of a gas leak there about 8:30 this evening, and police had to block off the area. Once again, this happening in Buffalo, New York. In Dallas, Fort Worth, in that area, it's the water. Hundreds of broken water mains caused by the past day's freezing temperatures. Repair crews are working around the clock trying to plug those leaks. Homes and businesses are without water, or with very little, actually, so officials are urging residents to store and conserve what water there is available to them right now. My goodness, a winter of misery, misery, misery all over, David.
Lots of it. Well,
that's it right there.
There's the misery. Well, people are still calling us up, Stan, wondering how much water is in snow. What is the water to snow ratio? Well, normally it takes an inch of water to give us 10 inches of snow.
Okay.
That dry, light, fluffy stuff that we had today,
yes.
Well, it would take 20 inches of that. Twice as much to give us that 1 inch of water. That's a lot of snow.
That's a lot of snow. Enough
well,
to make me ill.
there wasn't that much out there today, thankfully. Look at the Observer Network, and this is what it looked like. 3 inches was the greatest amount, and that seemed to be on the southeast side, around Hastings, and also down there in Red Wing. Most of the areas received only 1.5 inches. Not much moisture in that snowfall. Highs today, unfortunately, we have to take the warm with the snow. We had warm temperatures climbing up into the mid to upper teens for the most part, and that was thanks to a large area of mild air that stretched across from the west to the east across the midsection of the country. That's more mild than we have seen, although a little pool of cool air is once again developing up across Canada, and that will be spreading south and southeastward. Look at those highs in Florida. Today, 60s and 70s. Yesterday, they only had 40s and 50s. Our high officially out at the airport did manage to crawl up to 13 above today, still 10 below the average. Low this morning was 6 above. It's above 0. Snowfall out at the airport, only 1.3. Currently out there, we still have a few flurries in the air. Partly cloudy skies, though. The temperature is now at 8 degrees above. The dew point 6, giving us a relative humidity of 91%. Southwest wind at 5 miles per hour, and the barometric pressure holding steady at 29.92 inches. A little bit of moisture is still in the air. There's a trough line moving southward. That's a little dip in the atmosphere, a little area of low pressure right now across northern Minnesota, and that is squeezing that little bit of moisture out. Gave us our light snow and flurry activity throughout the day today. Still a little bit of that up in northern Minnesota. Most of the moisture is still way down to the south, and that's picking up a lot right out of the Gulf of Mexico. They have a lot of problems down there. Just take a look at what's going on right now. Look at the snow that's occurring across eastern Kansas, right into western Missouri. They expect up to 1/2 foot of snow later on tonight. Where it isn't snowing in between, they have ice, 3/4 of an inch of ice on the roadways in northern Arkansas. That is extending northeastward. In the warm air, rain, and plenty of it. And with that, very heavy thunderstorms are now occurring. They have a severe weather watch out until 4 a.m. for parts of southern Mississippi and even southeastern Louisiana. Right now, it is still raining quite hard. There is a solid line of very heavy thunderstorms in the southeast, and that will continue to move eastward. As it does so, it'll still be rain across most of the southeast, but there is still quite a bit of heavy snow going on in that colder air. Meanwhile, up in our part of the country, we're not seeing any of that on radars because it's very light. But this is where it continues right now across extreme southeastern Minnesota, most of Wisconsin and Iowa. That is all on its way southeastward. The reason is a large cold area of Arctic high pressure that is once again driving that moisture right out of the state of Minnesota. Few light flurries may linger across the northern border areas, but by Wednesday night and Thursday morning, that high pressure system will be locked in the middle part of the country, bringing us much colder air. The forecast brings in that colder air. Mostly cloudy skies, occasional flurries. We'll have lows tonight of 2 below in the outlying spots to 5 above downtown. West winds at 5 to 10. For tomorrow, partly sunny but breezy and colder. Few flurries still possible in the air with highs of 5 to 10 above. Northwest winds up to 20. The outlook for Wednesday night into Thursday, partly cloudy, breezy, and downright cold again. Lows of 10 below to 16 below, highs of 3 below to 3 above, and the outlook shows that -7 for Friday morning. Still a few light snow flurries in the air Saturday and Sunday.
It's pretty neat the way you slipped that snow off the desk here. Get rid of it.
It was melting.
But it's so pretty, isn't it, Dave? It's so pretty.
Thank you. In sports, Lou Holtz has conducted his first bit of business, some business, as the head football coach at the University of Minnesota. Rob Lear has that story and more next on Eyewitness Sports.
In these modern times, the person who goes to work may not have far to go. But at the Hat of the Month Club, the boss better keep moving. To keep the books, organize the files, write the letters, check out the inventory, find time to create, and still keep on top of things. Yet even a thriving business can reach a point of diminishing returns. A good time to learn about the IBM personal computer. With this tool for modern times, a person can quickly master such jobs as accounting or word processing. Even use the IBM personal computer to forecast growth. All helping the business person at home to wear many hats, while selling even more. And that can be a feather in anyone's cap. The IBM personal computer. Call toll-free for a store near you.
Edina Hockey Holiday Classic. Come enjoy great high school hockey action at the Edina Hockey Holiday Classic, December 29th and 30th at the Met Center. 2 nights, 4 teams. Edina, Coon Rapids, White Bear Lake, and defending state champs Hill Murray. It's high school hockey at its best. The Edina Hockey Holiday Classic, December 29th and 30th. Call the Met Center or participating schools for ticket information.
Expecting a year-end dividend? See your Toyota dealer. Because he wants to deliver a deal that'll be your year-end dividend. We want to clear out our entire inventory by New Year's. Celicas, Corollas, Supras, front-wheel drive Corollas, Camrys, and Tercels. Every 84 Toyota truck must go now. I never expected this. Make your year-end dividend deal now. Your Toyota dealers got it right.
Well, Dave Dahl finally snapped. He's throwing snowballs around the place here, but somehow we're going to have to bear with it. Keep your head down and tell us the stories,
all right? We'll duck it through it, but we're going to talk some football, Stan. Lou Holtz's feet were moving when they hit the ground in Minnesota, and the Gophers' new head football coach has been making tracks ever since he accepted the job last Thursday. Holtz went back to Arkansas for the Christmas holidays, but it must have been a working holiday because he found time to hire 4 new assistant coaches for the U. Here they are: George Stewart, Pete Cordelli, Jim Strong, and Phil Amashun. At 25, Stewart is the youngest of the group. He was an All-American under Holtz at Arkansas back in 1980, and he was an assistant with the Razorbacks in '83. He'll coach the offensive line at Minnesota. Cordelli will work with the wide receivers, and like Stewart, he too has come north from Arkansas. Cordelli was a quarterback under Holtz at North Carolina State. Strong is the 3rd member of the new staff who worked with Holtz at Arkansas. He coached the tight ends there in '83 and may do the same at Minnesota in '84. Apparently that hasn't been determined just yet. Now, Elmation is not coming here from Arkansas, but like the other assistants, he does have ties to Holtz. He played and later coached under him at William & Mary in the early '70s. Holtz said a coaching staff and the recruiting are his biggest priorities right now, and the staff should all be complete by January 3rd. And he's already made contact with a number of in-state recruits. How do you sell a youngster on a program like Minnesota's? Holtz outlined his plan at a news conference this afternoon.
I think we have so much going forward here at the University of Minnesota. If an athlete will just say, I will listen with an open mind. And the questions they're going to have on his mind: number 1, can I trust you as a coach? Number 2, are you and the University of Minnesota completely committed to excellence? And number 3, do you care about me? I feel that we can answer yes to those 3 questions for the young man, and if he'll listen with an open mind, I would think we would enjoy some degree of success in recruiting, even though we're exceptionally far behind. And we must have great success in this state recruiting, but we also have to have a great deal of success out of this state.
Now, aside from hiring some assistant coaches, Holtz spent part of the holiday viewing game films from the Gophers' disastrous season in '83, a project which cost him neither his sense of humor nor his will to succeed. He did say, though, that the Gophers need more than Lou Holtz at the helm to become a winner.
He just asked me how many would I like. What would I like for Christmas? Boy, I'd love a big, beautiful roof over the entire state. You know, that's what I really like, but let's be realistic. We are not one bit better today because Lou Holtz is sitting in this chair than we were 3 weeks ago when I wasn't. Lou Holtz being here isn't going to change our football players. Our football players will have to transform themselves. The only thing that I can assure you is you aren't just going to put on that University of Minnesota headgear or football uniform. You're going to pay a severe price. When you walk in there, you're going to know that you deserve to be there.
The North Stars will begin the new year this week with 3 home games beginning tomorrow night with Toronto in town. It's a divisional game the Stars will play without the services of winger Tom McCarthy. Minnesota's second leading scorer was back at practice today, not in uniform but behind the bench in street clothes. A back injury has sidelined the left wing for perhaps as long as a week or 10 days. Today's injury news follows last night's mysterious report that McCarthy was missing after failing to accompany the team to Winnipeg. Tommy Mack's unexcused and unexplained absence was a costly one. Today he was fined $2,500. National Hockey League tonight, Mike Ramsey, the former Gopher, helped the Buffalo Sabres beat the Montreal Canadiens 7-4. Here's the game winner from the point. He's number 5. That was the game winner. The Buffalo Sabres win 7-4 tonight in the Forum. Around the National Hockey League elsewhere, we see a couple of scores on a late night. We see St. Louis over New Jersey in overtime, and Quebec outscored Hartford 7-3. Stan, again, reminder, Friday night we'll televise live from the Met, the Edina Hockey Holiday Classic.
Okay, I like Holtz's style. Huh?
Oh, boy.
I just hope he can go out and get the players now. Thank you, Rob.
Exciting.
Yeah. Well, final note tonight, when Jason Davis went on the road again to Oslo last week, he didn't need to travel as far as you might think. This Oslo is in Minnesota, although, as Jason discovered, there is no shortage of Norwegians or their
Oslo, Minnesota, about 20 miles southwest of Rochester, consists of a gas station and a store. But this is no ordinary store. This is Tigan Shopping Center, Inc., or the self-appointed lutefisk capital of the world.
Nice white lutefisk right there. The best in Oslo and all over.
The Oslo store carries just about anything you need, from linchpins to wall caps, from tools to coffee. It's a warm oasis in a frozen countryside, a place to buy food and clothing and talk over the day's events. But it's the specialities of the house that people come from miles around to buy. The lutefisk, served fresh and cold from a golden bathtub that sits in isolated splendor.
We come about 75 miles just to get that lutefisk.
85-year-old Charles Larson braved 35 below zero wind chills to get his holiday cod. He's a man who knows his fish.
If you get that lutefisk that's yellowish, that ain't good. You got to have that white stuff.
70-year-old Glenn Tigan began the lutefisk tradition after he brought the store over 40 years ago. A recent stroke means he can only now watch as his sons sell a lot of pickled herring.
Better than 2,000 of these bales of herring.
And lots of lutefisk.
Last year we had a real good year. We sold over 10 ton.
Dale Tigan says that all kinds of people come to Oslo to buy the pickled herring, but most of the lutefisk is hauled away by older people of Scandinavian descent.
Mungatak.
You bet.
The reason people come from miles around to shop here is not only for their herring, their lutefisk, or their oysters. The Tigan family claim they can provide anything. In fact, their motto is, if we don't have it, you don't need it. Jason Davis on the road again in Oslo, Minnesota.
Let me tell you something. All 3 of us are Norwegian. I'm going home and having a peanut butter sandwich. I don't know about you guys. Forget the lutefisk. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow night.
This is the week your Twin Cities Pontiac dealers are clearing out their